Good evening. It is 7:45. 7:45 p.m. on a Tuesday, Tuesday evening. I told myself I was going to do a video every day. I was going to make 200 videos. And of course, as soon as I get ready, I realize my little clicker isn't working, and I'm not sure if the battery needs changed or what. But yeah, it's got one of those little cell batteries in it. Oh goodness, hold on a second. This is part of doing videos. You find out, how it looks. I feel much better now. I woke up feeling really sick today. I did a video this morning without makeup on when I first woke up just to see how it looked, and there's definitely a difference. So I told myself, make sure whatever you do, Deb, before you get on camera, do your hair and makeup. It's better to have it on than to not. It instantly makes me feel better anyway, as does walking and going tanning. Okay, stop fidgeting. 10-minute videos every day for 200 videos. That's a lot of videos. I don't think I can do it for 200 days. I think to make 200 videos, how long would that take? I have to do the math. How many does it take till you get to the... It's all practice. This is all learning, so I have to keep reminding myself, this is for me. If someone watches it and laughs at it, then they probably aren't. They probably aren't even gonna find it. This thing, my channel is rather invisible right now. I don't really know how to make it accessible and visible, so right now my focus is just making the videos. Like I say, the more you do it, the easier it is. The easier it is, the more you do it. And I'm using that principle for the habits I'm creating in my life. You don't want to do it, but you're going to do it. Today I, woke up feeling bad for like the 4th day in a row. The last 3 I had to go to work, so I kind of just talked myself out of it and talked myself into feeling good, which part of doing that involves self-care, showering, brushing your teeth, doing your hair, putting on makeup, getting dressed, wearing something other than pajamas or your bathrobe. It's really easy to just stay the way, you wake up in that funk and just stay there. And I was about to give myself permission to do that because, that I was exposed to COVID and didn't realize it until later. So I had that, in my mind, but also what my teacher, Marissa Peer, says over and over, tell yourself a better lie. Instead of saying, oh, this is killing me, I feel terrible, tell yourself, well, even if it isn't a lie, you do feel bad, but terrible is a bit extreme. So just say, yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather, and that means I need to take extra good care of myself today. I had to admit that, and I had admitted this for a while, that I was not good to myself the last couple of months, in the way I was eating, the way I was talking to myself silently. I basically was in a negative place for pretty much the month of December. I had some good days in there. There's always good days, but I was not very consistent with my goals or, the things that I had set out to do for myself. And I was reminded of that today again, just based on how I was feeling physically when I woke up today was strong enough that I would have called off work. If I had to work, feeling that way, I would not have done it just because I was feeling that rough. But I feel just fine now. And what did I do today? I slept a lot, more than normal, but I also stayed up extra late last night because a good friend came over, and we ended up talking into the wee hours of the morning. And, I knew that I was going to be sacrificing sleep, and that was something I told myself that I wasn't going to do. I was going to make a point to get my sleep in. But I also, reasoned that this is a good friend and it was worth it. Any amount of time that I got to spend with this person was worth the amount of sleep I was missing then, and that I would make it up today. And they say you can't make up sleep. I think that there's some truth in that. If it goes on long enough, it's going to take longer to recover, But staying up late one night, throwing off your sleep cycle once in a while, I say it's like keeping me sharp, because life is never going to be perfect and routine the way you want it to be all the time. I mean, yes, you can form routines and they're great, but you also have to be flexible. Or like my teacher says, you have phenomenal coping skills. Phenomenal coping skills. You cope with, you wake up and you're like, oh, I think I'm getting sick. What do I need to do? Drink lots of water, get some rest. The original advice that I always heard as a child growing up from any doctor was lots of fluid, rest, and you'll be better in a couple of days. And I found out that my mother actually had COVID, and she's bedridden. She can't even get out of bed. So even her, in her state, the nurses said that she did really well, and that she was only bad for 2 days. And now she's, when I went to see her, she was great. I waited until they lifted the quarantine, which was 10 days, I believe, is what they gave her to recover. So poor mom, she felt like it had been months, and I could relate just from living alone. And I'm not bedridden, but just from being isolated and alone, alone with your thoughts. That was something my friend and I were talking about last night, and they admitted that it was absolutely terrible for them to be that isolated with their thoughts. And that led to the, what's the worst form of punishment? Solitary confinement, being alone with your thoughts. Or I say being alone to battle your demons, depending on how you view your negative thoughts. They can be seen as demons or something you have to battle against. And what I came to realize about myself is that I was just always, I was really never taught how to express them. It was just something that I didn't know how to express anger or the negative emotions, It was something that I was just always taught to be still, be silent, be quiet, have faith, trust in God, trust in your church leaders, trust in your parents, your husband. I was not taught to trust myself. And one of the things my teacher promotes is writing on your mirror. She said, write it in lipstick. I wrote it in a dry erase pen because, I've gotten good at writing on all those special boards, being a waitress all those years, writing the special. I got my own little calligraphy writing that people actually love watching me do. But I wrote, uplifting messages. The main one was, you're enough, or I'm enough. And what I wrote in the mirror is, I trust you. And that message has come to my rescue multiple times, just because I had I have had to retrain how I think. And that takes time and repetition, and you can repeat things as often as you like, and that's, it's one of those, you worry about not doing it enough more than worrying about doing it too much. So self-praise, those positive reinforcing thoughts, to override the negative ones, which have been playing in my mind most of my life, that's going to take a lot of repetition, and really the only one that can do that is me, you know. So I've been making that a priority as well, how I talk to myself. And I talk to myself in these videos. I talk to myself on my phone as a recorder app, like a little, it looks like a little 80s tape recorder. And that's what I talk into my phone while I'm walking to the tanning bed, so that while I'm in the tanning bed, I can listen to what I just said. So I'm basically just listening to my own voice and just getting whatever's in my mind out and listening to it. So it's like a spoken journal. So that's what that has been, and now I've kind of progressed to videos, so now I'm actually seeing myself, which is something I want to get comfortable with, and I am getting more comfortable with the more I do it. And I just see now that I've went over the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this off and give it a watch.